keynote session that is Navigating DEI in a Globalized World, Understanding the Intersection of ESG and DEI. To do this, I would request Ms. Renu Rohtagi, Leadership Program Director, Air Liquide India. Renu is a dynamic leader in human resources with nearly 2 decades of experience driven by belief that change is inevitable and innovation is the key to success. Passionate about unlocking individual potential and creating opportunities, she has successfully led HR functions across organizations like Air Liquide India, Coca-Cola India, HCL Technologies, and Jubilant Life Sciences. Currently the Director of HR and Communication at Air Liquide India, Renu excels in fostering a culture of compassion and delivering sustainable organizational growth. Her expertise span talent acquisition, talent management, performance management, employee engagement, and learning academies. To do this, I would request Ms. Renu Rohtagi on board, please.
Thank you, everyone. Am I audible at the last? Super. I hope you had a good lunch. And I'm not the first one who's speaking about the diversity, inclusion, and the equity. I think I am the number 4th or 5th speaker, and there's nothing new for me to introduce you what is the concept of a D&I and the ESG. I will not take much of a time because 20 minutes is my talking. I will try my best to put across my concept here. The beauty of this topic is D&I and ESG. Very honestly speaking, we have still not matured in terms of leveraging our D&I. But there's another concept which is coming in. Imagine if the ESG is going to be integrated, what wonders we can bring in. On that note, I would like to start with a very, very small story of mine when I started my career. And I was in my younger days, though I'm still young, but when I started my career, I was invited by a very seasoned, experienced leaders to join a conference with them. And that was my first meeting. While I was sitting in the conference, and I was wondering by myself, questioning to me that, am I really required to be a part of this meeting? Am I really sure that my voice matters? And am I really sure that this particular meeting will not get overwhelmed? But you know what? There is a leader there who turned his mind and who looked at me and said, Renu, what are your perspectives in this? We want to hear from you. You are invited in this meeting. Anyone would like to reflect what I'm speaking about? Anyone would like to reflect and talk about it, what I'm speaking about? That transformed my thinking. Because that's where I was included in that discussion. And I really found that inclusion is just not creating a room. Inclusion is invited for you to be yourself, to show yourself. And this is where I am predominantly working on the space of inclusion and diversity with the fact that this is an opportunity for us as an individual to encourage voices, encourage individual uniqueness, and to leverage the strengths of all. With the fact that we are trying to bring people, prosperity, and planet into a wonderful future. And that's where the concept of a D&I and ESG always excites me to explore and work. On that note, I would like to just introduce myself on a one line. I'm Renu Rohtagi. I'm working for Air Liquide as the Global Leadership Program Director. My mission is to help leaders develop, and for that I need to continually develop myself. And that's where I'm here. If I talk about this global picture of diversity. I'm sure this is something which is not a new statistics for any one of you. It's a global picture. It's a global statistics coming from UNESCO and from World Economic Forum, which speaks about that overall, if you look at 36% of a woman representation is there and 62% is men. I will not speak about other constructs because these are something which is known. And on the leadership position, it is only 24% women at the global scale. I'm speaking here about the gender diversity. But when I look at the workforce composition, it says that if you look at the workforce composition, under 25 is 25%, and then 25 to 34 is like basically 30%, and so forth. And if you look at from inclusion perspective, when we speak about disability workforce inclusion, it says that 50% of global population is somewhere or the other are specially abled. However, only 4% of population are included in the workforce. I'm sure this is not a shock, but I think we all are aware. The only thing is that how, as an individual, we can bring this, because the statistics also speak about it will take almost like 131 years for us to achieve the full gender parity globally. Are we at the right pace? I'm sure we are not. And it is not that, okay, the leaders will demonstrate that or my managers will demonstrate that. It is we, it's individual. Amazingly, this is another very, very interesting concept which I have been collecting and I've been discussing with my peers across various geographies. The research speaks about that, the organizations which encourages the diversity and inclusion have 75% more top talent interaction, 50% of improved employee engagement, and the beauty is that there is a 35% reduction in turnover. And the economic impact says that, imagine, if we continue to sustain this, or continue to bring this, or scale this up, the 12 trillion potential global GDP is going to be helping to close the gender gaps. And this is proven by one of the organizations, because my friends who work for Accenture and Amazon has really demonstrated that in certain pockets. So it's very interesting facts, but still alarming. 131 years of gender partially data is still giving us the alarms. Any thoughts? We've been seeing that, various organizations have been really recognized for the good work on the diversity, inclusion, and the ESGs. But in order to really bring that, do you think there is a change which we have to really bring in? Can I have some nods or no? But I think there is a shift which we have to bring in, is basically the fundamental shift in the DNA of the organization. We have very good policies, we have very good initiatives, but have we ever imagined, is this D&I concepts really echoing in our values? Are our leaders demonstrating these behaviors in their day-to-day work? I was speaking with one of my peers, and she was talking about inclusion will take time. It will take many years. You know why? We need role models. By doing certain initiatives, we really cannot say that we are really leveraging on the D&I. It is the behaviors. Believe me, it is the values. It is the ethos which has to be demonstrated right from top to the bottom. And that's where we need to bring a fundamental shift in the DNA of the organization. It's not easy, and we have a lot of challenges, When we speak about bringing it, the challenges are that we have very divergent metrics and the dashboards, different standards, which always put dilemma, which always put dilemma. Different dashboard, different metrics, and different standards coming across. I mean, do not know that what is the objective and what is that we are trying to achieve it. I think this is one of the challenge which needs to have some standardization. We have a green washing or a social washing because we know we are doing a lot of initiative. It's just because we really wanted to have this numbers to be branded and a reputation to be created, or are we really putting the efforts in the D&I? So we have to really reflect on these parts. Are we going with a short-term or a long-term goals? Because we really see the shift of organization based on the investors' decisions, What are my stakeholders looking at it? What are my investors looking at it? Do we have really a long-term goal, or are we just trying to put across a metrics because we need to do those metrics? Operational and cultural barriers, and I do witness that because I have an organization where we still see that we have one function who's taking care of the D&I, another function is taking care of the ESG. But if we have to be really successful, it needs to be integrated. Because this is meant for people, for planet, and for prosperity. And unified, one integrated function can really yield results. Intersectionability is a very important concept. We are trying to encourage specially able people from different age, sex, gender, all. But are we really trying to make them change, or are we really trying to create some initiatives which will lead them to thrive? What kind of initiatives are really bringing for them, So this is again to reflect upon. And finally, a global context, which is important. This needs to be a cascade. We need to have some kind of goals, which needs to be really aligned what we are required to achieve as an organization. So there are a few challenges, and this is where I'm saying that we are evolving in the concept of D&I and ESG, but there are opportunities which we really feel that if worked together, good times are there that we are going to be demonstrating for that. And for that, we need really a good synergy interlinked with all of it. I want to bring across a case from my organization. I represent here Liquide. Like I said, I'm from a French organization. We are number 2 globally. We manufacture gases, industrial gases, for about established in 1902, manufacturing medical, industrial gases, and also into energy. Very particular about the values and behaviors to be demonstrated by individuals. When I was being asked that I need to talk about D&I and ESG, I thought it is one of the good opportunity to demonstrate what we are doing it. And fortunately, we are making a progress. Here, I would like to show you that how Air Liquide Be Act Engage, which is our behaviors, core behaviors, and our advanced program, which is our strategic initiative in line with our business, is a cornerstone initiative for this concept. Be, Act, and Engage speaks about that we have to live our fundamentals. We are acting for the success for our people, for planet, and for prosperity. And we are making sure as a leader, every individual is a leader in the organization. Leader doesn't need the titles. Creating an ongoing environment that individual can thrive, not survive. And this is where the behaviors are our core cornerstone. So we have integrated our behaviors with our strategic initiative, which is Advance. And Advance reflects in line with our plan, which says that we have to continue to deliver our strong financial outcomes. We need to decarbonize the planet, unlock the progress in technology, and acting for all. What we look at that, gone are the days when we speak about business is for the profit. We are saying business is for the profit, but it needs to be driven with a purpose, so that we can give a long-term view and success for individuals who want to grow and thrive in the organization. So by unifying this particular initiative, we are glad to share that we have a target of 35% of a global workforce of women in Air Liquide, and 2024, we are sitting at 32% women in professionals. And this is global number. When we speak about women in STEM, because there's a lot gaga going around women in STEM, women in science, we are very fortunate to speak about that. 20 years of support, we have been nourishing our technical women in ladder for this particular initiative. And these are homegrown women who are leading this, which is called Technical Career Ladder program for the TCL. So this is one of the things to highlight when I combine both the initiatives. How do we do that? You know, everything is being looked in terms of numbers. We speak about, okay, show me the facts and the data, and I think it is very important. We are not saying drive your standards. We are saying universally drive your standard. And it is only possible when we are tracking, measuring, rewarding, recognizing. And in all the 4 aspects, it needs to reflect in your behavior. Everyone needs to demonstrate, and that is where even our behaviors are part of our performance management. We give credibility to people on your behaviors. How did you demonstrate that? Support with the examples. So we track the objectives of all the entities. So Air Liquide is spearheaded into 70 countries, and every countries have common standard to demonstrate. We mitigate the bias in the talent discussions and are improving the HR processes. How we mitigate that? We do have employee engagement survey. We speak about those questions to an individual, and it's anonymous. And we speak about people, we mitigate the discussions, we try to put across inclusion moment in the discussions. We include hiring process, which is how the managers are really being trained when they are doing a hiring process. So everything is linked with the behaviors and promoting a culture of inclusion. And this is a few initiatives when we talk about inclusion moments. They are about live 200 plus experiments which are taking place across all the 70 countries. Because we believe in the philosophy of learning by doing. So these are few things which further emphasize that we are bringing the concept of D&I and ESG by practicing and implementing into our objectives. Linking to our environment sustainability commitment, like I said, that Be Act Engage advanced program is a reflection of a unified initiative. So from environment concepts, when we speak about, we say that we contribute to a low carbon society and environment as a whole. For health, we continue to improve the quality of our patients and access to the medical oxygen globally, and acting all, like I was speaking about people, prosperity, and planet. People is acting for all. We will continue to keep our objective of having 35% of women in our professional, managerial and professionals. 100% of employees have common care coverage across the world. And 100% of employees have access of volunteering opportunities. And this volunteering opportunities is basically, again, a program called Citizen at Work. And here, every individual is required to spend some hours outside and contributing to the society. And this is other than the CSR. We are really very shy organization and do not want to really talk about our achievements, but I still want to talk about it, that the impact and the achievements of this particular initiative, which is still born, you know. We are recognized as a leadership in the corporate sustainability, Dow Jones, in the Europe Index, and has consistently maintained high scores in the climate and water rankings. And this is just the beginning, and I think there is a way to go. So this brings me a question to you, just to reflect upon. Do I have a time? Good. What does inclusion look like you in your everyday action? Reflect and think about it. And how can you expand its impact within your sphere of influence? It is on to you. Do not think about it, my leader and our boards will do. It's for you. Second question, I'm also reflecting, and I don't have the complete answer, but I would like to encourage and invite your thoughts here. Imagine a world where every company, every organization, every team member commits to balancing the growth with equity and profits with purpose. We are not saying to change the business, we are saying just to transform the concept of a business. And what role will you play in making this vision a reality? What will be the headlines of your organization if you continue to sustain or remain in 10 years if you would like to really embrace the intersection of D&I and ESG? So I put these two questions to you. Reflect and see how, as an individual, would you like to contribute if you have to take this vision to a reality and not letting the gap of 131 with that as is pace. This is one of my very, very interesting I was listening to Brené Brown, and this really touched to my heart. The true belonging does not require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. And it has a depth. And it is not an individual, we need to collectively make a journey. It's not easy, but it's possible. On that note, thank you so very much, and I think I'm on time. Thank you.
I would request Ms. Renu Rohtagi to be back on the stage. And to do the honors, I would request Mr. Anil Tyagi to felicitate her.